the gun confiscation started off as a racist thing. And what nations would do after they conquered another nation, another race, they would immediately disarm them and eliminate the right to possess firearms. You can see this throughout history. Nazi Germany being one of the more recent examples, where you had Hitler persecuting the Jews, who he systematically forced to register their firearms through creating gun registry laws, which was done in a republic, but a republic run amok and overran by a tyrant, and basically apathy of the people. The German people were very apathetic at the time. In the 30s, they were just stuck in a depression and riding a high of bread, cake, circuses, and theater, I guess you can say.
Let them eat cake.
Yeah, let them eat cake as the city burns and the tyrant becomes the new leader.
Isn't that what we have now here?
Right, so that's what happened. So basically Hitler outlawed possession of firearms, but he based it on a specific race. And that's how it started. Once he based it on a specific race, then it just spread to the entire populace. So let's look at another example prior to Hitler, and this is the KKK in the United States, trying to outlaw private ownership of firearms in the hands of African Americans. We can also look at the Native Americans. When they're rounded up and put on their reserves, what did they do? They took away their guns. And they just gave them bows and arrows and tomahawks. It was like, okay, well, you can't use that musket, even though it was, an old musket. You get that taken away.
And now,
or you get put to the spear, or the bayonet, I'm sorry.
They're doing the same thing to us now.
Right, so now it's basically gloves off, New World Order, Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, are basically at their phase of implementing a totalitarian state. People are like, oh, you're one of those doomsayers and whistleblowers and the alarmists.
Preppers.
And a prepper, whatever, bro. Call me what you want to call me.
Why do you have
Working
to
9 to
label
5,
this guy?
you know what I'm
You can't
saying?
label this guy. Come
Whatever,
on, man.
Call it what you
Beyond
want. Just look into the facts yourself. I mean, there's countless evidence pointing towards what I'm talking about here. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this shit out. I mean, just look in plain sight.
You're an alarmist.
Just look in plain sight. Look at our rights being chipped away. I mean, the Patriot Act is anything but patriotic. How does that make us safer?
You make people scared.
Because it smashes their paradigm. They're stuck in this paradigm of, oh, everything's hunky-dory and okay, and I got my reality TV to go to, and,
You're just adding to all of the negative feelings that are out there,
Well, some might say that, but I'll say this. The only way you're going to fix the problem is to identify the problem. And if negative things are going on, well, if you just ignore them,
Isn't that negative?
that's just going to, that's worse than negative. Ignoring them, I think, is like the most negative thing someone can do. It's like, hey, there's someone about to get hit by a car, and you just watch.
Yeah, that's negative. That's pretty negative.
I'm not saying you have to be a hero or anything like that, but at least say, hey, there's a car coming, get out of the street. Like, can't make it over there, at least yell. So that's basically
all we're trying to do.
That's all we're trying to do.
Yeah, for sure.
What I'm saying? I'm not trying to do anything other than that.
No, we're not trying to give you art. We're not trying to make you, follow us or think like us. We're just saying how we feel, and hopefully that'll get other people to start talking about these things at your family functions, to where it's cool, to where you guys can actually sit and talk about real things that are really going on, because we have a lot of problems, and they are trying to break up our families, and they're definitely trying to shoot us up with a lot of different drugs and stuff. So.
Yep, and these problems are nothing new. They've been going on for over 100 years. I mean, a lot of the tyrannical stuff that's going on, that's been going on for ages.
Yeah, now Piers wants our guns.
Right. I mean, that's the first thing that a conquering nation does. I mean, we're under banker occupation, and they're the ones that are really pushing for all this.
But
because they know that we're finding out about them and we're getting pissed off. In no way am I saying we got, to do revolutionary stuff. All that I'm saying is that, hope for the best, do what you can, but prepare for the worst. If they do decide to just go through a full economic collapse and destroy our economy, I mean, there's going to be some crazy people out there.
Well, John Stewart was saying that we're kind of crazy. We're kind of, scared because we're worried about the possibility of a government takeover. He doesn't understand that
seems-
we're already there. We're already
Right.
in a government takeover.
Right. There is no possibility of it
The
happening. It already
possibility's
happened.
there. It's
I mean,
already,
look at the 2008 bailouts. Not to cut you off. I
look
mean,
at
the,
September 11th. Look at John F. Kennedy.
yeah.
I mean, on
listen,
and on and on. You know.
So I guess you can say we were born into the takeover, and the number one way to keep a slave enslaved easily is to make them, to give them the false belief that they have freedom.
Yeah.
You know, hey, going to your 9 to 5 and having the the availability of any channel on TV, that's freedom, I guess. But if that's your definition of freedom, hey, it's pretty narrow.